Welcome everybody back for some more Heroes of the Storm action. We are going into our second best of 5 of the night. It is of course Mighty versus Tempest. This battle may give us an indication as to which team is going to be third place, and we'll be joining the rest of the top teams in the finals there at BlizzCon.
Yep, that's right. And before that, Eastern Clash, of course, seems to be the more important one as it is closer to them right now. We're in week 3, and after 2 weeks, it will be Eastern Clash and then Western Clash happening within the break time. And of course, this series, I think I still favor a little bit towards Tempest, but I know you're going towards the Mighty side.
I think Mighty may be able to do this. Tempest was more impressive overall, I feel like, when you look at what they were able to accomplish against stronger opponents, but I don't know, man. I feel like this could go either way. I don't think we're going to have a 3-0 series, that is for sure. Here is, of course, Tempest with Honkono. No hat today. He's hatless Honkono.
No sunglasses either.
Yeah. So, see if this roster will hold up against Mighty, a tougher opponent here for Tempest.
Of course, the new one, H82, in the roster as a little flexing in from Warrior to Assassin, the melee Assassins most of the time going in, but the real change is Honkono coming back into the team, playing lots of Genjis for the team. But as we say, as we have key player is Lockdown though.
Yep, Lockdown. Large hero pool actually playing the Abathur recently because Abathur has risen back to top tier meta. And we'll be seeing potentially some more of that actually in this series. I hope so. Saw the Sergeant Hammer win, a very niche pick right now in Korea, but was able to take the win out with it. Reverse sweep that we saw L5 take against Tempest was a bit of a tough loss for them, but perhaps a tougher opponent than who they are going to face today in their opponent's Mighty, who we'll talk about in just a moment.
Yeah, but also Sign has been super solid in the front line all the time, especially with the Anubarak, but with Anubarak a little bit less tier right now, and feel like in this dive meta, and where they often used to bring 100%, but it's not 100% anymore. Sometimes it goes through the draft, so we'll see some changes in Sign. But on the other side here is Mighty. They're looking to take this win today as they are ready to go with the roster swap with BG. Coming in good, coming into the team. They've been filling in. I think this is I think this was almost one of the best positive roster changes within a lot of the teams in Korea.
Yeah, they definitely got some of the best with Good here, and I do feel like he is making his pick, or making the trade worth it, if that makes sense, for Mighty. So he'd probably be listed as key player here. Joker as well is just not disappointed all season long. Nasong with Rhaegar also being much more meta than he was in Phase 1. A strong roster, a strong team going forward. And Malthael, we saw him fail to take the win there, but ended up playing Illidan and the Zeratul, and even one game of Tassadar, showing the flexibility that Rich could not yesterday on to the Tassadar pick. So I like this a lot. This large hero pool, the flexibility, and the top tier Zeratul that we've come to know and expect from this player.
Yep, that's right, and his Zeratul, of course, will be a big threat when you let him free. Yesterday, Black really marked on him the entire time, and he was very pressured. He could not do much in that game, but when you let him free onto multiple targets backline, he will dive you with the Void Prison, which he did against a lot of the Korean team. Maybe we'll see another Zeratul play coming out from Good today.
Could be, well, let's see how this is going to all pan out, as we will have our maps shown to you guys. I already saw them, and we're seeing a trend right now as to which maps are becoming banned and first picked. And I feel like the momentum in this series for these two teams have so much competitive experience, it's not going to be shaken. We saw Blossom really fall apart in that third game. It was a pretty rough one. The Leoric play we saw, especially on game number 2 as well for Mora, not the strongest, not the greatest of all time. So that's something that's not going to happen, I don't think, for either of these teams. So we're starting things off on Towers of Doom. That'll be our first map with Braxis removed, but Cursed Hollow banned by Tempest. So this is becoming more of a trend to see the Cursed Hollow ban. And we're seeing Towers of Doom picked more and more often, actually, in this tournament.
From the very beginning, and surprising the Tempest actually banned Cursed Hollow against Mighty, which was their okay map. As I see, they still have 2-0 on that map in phase number 2 only. And I believe even in phase number 1, without Honkono before, they had some struggles with bringing the only team had the false stat with the global. Lots of times actually was the Haka having control over. They still had pretty good win rate from what I remember, but banning the Cursed Hollow from the Battleground pool, I think that's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I'm surprised by it too. It's on a map that I feel like Tempest is worse on than Mighty. You know what I mean? Like, it's unusual to see them ban this. We see this by, you know, if it's Raven versus Mighty, you're like, okay, well, I'm a little bit worried about the timings that we see Mighty on this map, and I don't want to play against them on this map, so I'm going to ban it. I'm going to remove it. Just struggle to deal with the really strong rotational play. But for the teams that are so evenly matched like this, pretty unusual. Maybe they just don't want to deal with the Abathur specifically, something that we've seen a lot on that map. And we'll see if they are going to prioritize the Ariel as highly as L5 did. L5 spent so much of their time in the midseason brawl drafting around the Ariel Vala, the Trinity there. They think it's one of the stronger heroes right now. And they actually first banned it 3 for 3 in their series against Blossom. We'll see if these two teams will be able to will prioritize that just as highly.
So, I think we're ready to jump into the draft very soon. Let's go into Towers of Doom, the first draft. Yes, there we go. What face, please? There's an Abathur ban from the start. Mighty has been the one actually banning lots of Illidan on lots of Battleground.
Genji will be removed by Mighty, and Ariel comes in as a result. So already the heavy priority here over the Genji. Or sorry, we're seeing the Genji over the Ariel, which meant that Tempest was allowed to take the Ariel.
After was, of course, that's something Magi was oftentimes using. 3 and 0 in phase number 2. So that's a standard, very studied good ban coming out from Tempest, of course. But now with the Ariel on the other side.
We've seen a lot of Uther Stitches in second rotation. We saw it by L5 on game number 2 on Towers of Doom specifically. And that is going to be what they run here. They're just so powerful right now. When I think about heroes that terrify me, man, I don't think about the Genji as much or the Illidan. I think about Uther. You kill him. He's healing. It's a long cooldown, but massive burst. You kill him. Then he has massive healing with no cooldown. It's pretty insane. You know, I don't even want to kill him, but if I don't kill him, he's still going to do so much. He's got a good point-click stun. Yeah,
that's the power where Uther has right now in this meta, but double support with Marthiel again coming out from Tempest here. They're going all in with the solo lane, very strong, but double support. I don't think Marthiel will be the only one that needs protection. Maybe they are thinking into Tracer with the blinks, with the utility, even Bala. Anything is possible at this moment. H82 will be likely to be on Marthiel. Still, we do not know what Honkono will be playing, most likely.
Really cool thing about this draft for Tempest, it doesn't necessarily have to be the Vala. Malthael works really well with this too. I think Vala is the easy ban here, right? Cassia is the other choice, which we've seen a lot. And this Cassia ban points towards Mighty wanting to use a hero that can do a lot of attack damage. They're afraid of the blinds. The Chromie ban is a really weird one, it might seem like initially, but actually I think the reason why is because they're worried about the combos you've seen against the Ariel. There's no easy ban for Tempest to make that's like, oh, okay, they got Uther Stitches, so I know exactly where they're going with this draft. Greymane could have been a strong choice, but they go ahead and ban the Chromie, so I actually kind of like it. It's not a ban that I look at and go, wow, it was the smartest move, but I feel like it's one that I was going to say, oh, that was a safe move. That was a really good ban.
Also, Mighty did play Chromie once, I believe. maybe Albraxis, but they had a very similar draft, and it was against the Vala Trinity comp, especially against Auriel. So we can see from the two bans, we can see that Tempest has studied from the previous games of Mighty. I think what? Greymane and Illidan together when Avatar is already removed, double support already removed from them.
The reason why the Cassia ban was chosen earlier now makes a lot more sense. So
this is very, very surprising.
Very all in a way, because they don't have the secondary support. They might have a one, and it might be Solo Tank Stitches. We'll find out when we get to the 5th pick there, but I think it could be something crazy like a Zarya. I don't think it will be a Medivh. I don't think it will be. Lunara will be the choice of DPS here. That's going to be the way to generate hope. We saw this actually used on Friday with limited success.
Not a burst damage, but lots of sustain over the poison and the percent damage over the 4 seconds. Will be lots of sustained healing coming out from them. So if they have a longer team fight, of course the team fight will go towards Tempest, I feel like. But Mighty, they have the burst damage with the hooks, some pair-ups. I think they even need more damage with the pair-up. Maybe even a mage like Kel'Thas coming into an action to have the follow up with the Stitches hook. Or are they considering another support here, actually?
Tyrael is, I think, such a strong pick here. So much extra protection. They're going to go triple DPS with the Li Ming, Greymane, Illidan. You normally only see this if your main tank is the Tyrael, when you have the solo tank being the Tyrael for protection. Li Ming here, I mean, they have so much damage, but at the same time, there's much protection for any part of that damage.
A little unexpected, but I like the draft from both sides. I think it's very balanced in terms of this. On this map, Towers of Doom, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, G-Clef. Let's go into game number 1, see which one of these two teams is going to take that momentum lead. In blue, Tempest, Hide on Auriel, Honkono on Lunara, Lockdown on Taster, Sign on Anub'arak, and HD2 on Malthael.
And in red, Mighty, Joker on Stitches, PDG on Li Ming, Good on Illidan, Nasang on Uther, and Magi on Greymane.
Here we go.
Mighty's team comp is powerful with so much damage. There's a burst, the beginning of the game, the early phase, they will have a very strong laning phase especially. But when it gets to a longer game, the long game at the end, the sustain, the AoE damage from H82's, Marthiel, and also Honkono on the Lunara. With a solo support onto Mighty's side, they just cannot win.
They have to burst, right? And it's going to be very difficult. Li Ming is going to have to carry the fights basically with resets. So they're going to need to snowball the fights in order to get the win. And like you said, they only have Uther as healing with super long cooldowns and all the long damage coming out. It feels like Tempest has kind of drafted into this slow burn composition that is very well equipped to deal with what Mighty's drafted here. With only the solo Uther, the Lunara pick starts to make more and more sense.
They will be rotating up and down, it seems like, and Marthiel, H82 smells this, smells the Greymane in that push there. Not gonna go fully committed. Seems like the acting of Illidan is a little bit bad in a way that H82 can actually smell it. This seems weird. He's not really pushing, he's not really taking care of the wave.
Honkono is such hyper-aggressive positioning here, actually. Building so much hope that he's able to out-sustain this. Tastar's coming down, too. Joker might find himself in trouble. Gets hit by this burrow charge. Oh, impale, though. Oh, and the hook is good. They might turn this. The cannon tower doing so much extra damage. Okay. They do survive. Nobody dies. in this battle.
Nobody dies with the protection of and the healing coming out from Ario. That's the thing, if they do not have the burst with Illidan and both Greymane at the same time, and naming all the skill shots together, it will be very tough to get a kill.
So much CC on both of these teams, by the way, it's kind of insane. So, a little bit more so on Tempest, especially once they get the force wall. The Mighty has the hook, the point-click stun, and there's a lot of stun locks coming down here. So this is going to be the battle for the neutral. Ooh, totally missed there. The DPS coming out from Honkoto, hide with the late heal. And that is a squishy hero. This is how Mighty has to win these fights, with these picks, and then just continue to win the longer fight from the resets from Li Ming.
Especially before 10. This is exact timing they should go for, and they get the kill, and if they limit all the damage coming up from Nara or even Marthail, they will win the team fight, of course. But the focusing has to be real, has to be exact, almost perfect onto the side of Mighty, because of all the protection and the heals coming out from Ario all the time.
So camp's just going to be traded here, but because they had the advantage, Mighty is able to take the top neutral camp. There's not much Tempest can do to deny this. They send Malthael up to H82, but he's a bit late to arrive. And we'll see what the next team fights bring, because what we saw in that fight was the early pick onto Honkono and the late heal that Hyde brought to the table. Couldn't do enough damage to bring up the hope for a bigger heal anyways. So we'll see if they can kind of position better in the next fights, because again, I feel like the comp of Tempest wins the late game fights, as you said, and the longer fights when there's no pick off immediately.
See, as you can see on the screen, there's no burst damage, but the constant damage that keeps on coming up from Lunara, and when Martyr joins the fight, they will win for the longer team fight.
Uther's got those long cooldowns, and if he didn't have, and if it were a little bit longer, he might have actually died there. So barely got the heal off in time. Also, the damage that's coming out for Tempest is mostly magic damage, ability damage, I should say. And that means that the armor that Uther provides really isn't all that helpful here. So the physical armor he provides is not going to help against the burn damage coming out from Lunara, the Malthael trait damage. These things just don't matter.
It's the thing against Illidan too. It's the spell damage goes directly to Illidan. He can only dodge all the auto attacks coming out, which will help against Lunara, but it's only for some few seconds while that skill lasts on his body. So, and let's talk about the sustain coming from Nasang's heal has to be exactly at the perfect timing all the time. That's why he also went for Ancient Kings, because he will be lacking all the sustain, providing more armor. Seems needed right now.
Just going to make this an even trade. Mighty is ahead 4 shots, so they're willing to make this happen. They're not going to try to force the fight. They don't need to. Dimensional shift is a good way to escape from a Stitches hook.
Of course, not too many follow-ups.
Yeah, only the hammer, really, of justice. The hammer of point-click slams hard.
Slams hard, and they need all the skill shots and bursts to get the kill. So it looks really hard for Joker, unless he goes for Gorge at 10. That will make it a lot easier to actually get the kill, maybe even bring the enemy targets over the wall.
Come the Pumpkin Man. Oh, that Pumpkin Man had second thoughts. He was like, oh, did I run into this? Do I throw my life away just to try to kill the cannon tower? He did. Don't be like that, Pumpkin Man. Commit.
Those sappers, man. And H82, meanwhile, has been not even going towards the bottom side. He was on this top lane this entire time pushing. Not really damaged at all onto this tower, but this will do a lot of damage. Taking the wall and 1 tower away.
Sign going to harass here a little bit after trying to spot kind of party bush. Gets caught here, but burrow charge makes you unstoppable, as was seen there. So even though the stun connected at the last second, it doesn't matter. This is actually a really close game. I think the next fight is going to be one of the turning points of the game.
Yeah, that's right. But Mighty, if they give so much time to Tempest to actually go easy from the beginning of the game, where I think Mighty should have been storming through and getting more kills against Tempest. They hit the heroics and they cannot get the kill here either. With no stun available,
they also
it's really hard.
They let Malthael solo soak top for so long. He has given Tempest the faster level 10. It is going to be Archon coming out here actually. And with all the stuns, they want to get the extra damage. It's going to be good late game, which with how close this game is looking to be, I think that Twilight Archon is absolutely within the realm of possibility on this Towers of Doom game. And finally, Tempest will even up the core health here. Good is split pushing, but he's going to have to leave now as HGC is tired of this game. Come over. There's the burrow charge.
The dive with the connecting CC does not have Metamorphosis, so he's looking for the kill. Does use the hunt onto the other side, but what's that going to do? Even going to give the kill to the Tastar, but meanwhile they did take the Sapper, so.
Tastar's like, how convenient of you to be placed right here where I will also need to place my Side Storm. Thank you for coming right where I was just gonna storm the wave anyways. I appreciate that. Okay. Hook comes in here.
But
You're gonna see the
oftentimes on
dive
Sign
now.
though,
Yeah.
doesn't really matter too much if you're always hooking Sign, who's the Nubarak who can also just dive and or initiate the fight actually.
Right after being grabbed, he just wins the fight. Also, BDD should not be on the pleb horse. That is a big mistake.
That, of course.
That could cost him this game.
That nerfs him so much. You know? Narcon, Tempest now with even more damage. There's a good hook onto, lock that actually onto Tastar, so and Joker has to drop the buyout for the slow, for himself to be alive. That was a defensive use and it's already used, so.
You know what's funny too with Li Ming versus this Anubarak, it's very difficult to get the damage done that she really wants to, because Anubarak just blocks it with Dampen Magic, as you can see, has the shield on him, has his own shield, and he is just, he's playing Reinhardt, man. He's not playing Anubarak, he's blocking spells left and right. HGC is going to turn this on for the heal.
With this.
It's also in the minion wave, so that gives him some extra healing.
More rip, of course. And percent healing from heroes, both of the heroes, so he could just sustain in himself. And that was 2v1. And
at least they baited out the heroic. It's not going to be available actually for this next fight. Okay, Channel coming in here for Hyde as we see the collapse come in. Even the Wisp is getting involved on this one. Here we go.
Disintegrate used to cancel the channel. Cocoon also used, and here comes the entire team fight. HGC does not have his heroic. That's going to cost him big. Here's lockdown with the Archon, but is taking so much damage.
Divine Shield used on Magi, but he's not able to find value out of that. Joker goes down, and that was a very well coordinated fight by Tempest. The Divine Shield usage very weak there. Hunt not available. Now it is, but can't use it to re-engage. And Tempest, go figure, they win the longer team fights, as you would expect with this composition, with the types of damage they have versus what Mighty has. It's just, they had a smart draft, especially the Ariel pick is my favorite part of this.
They have sustained healing, good. Illidan has been doing lots of wave clear, but not really getting too much value with his rotational work. Maybe it's going to come later a little bit more with the Hunt, because he's been pushing and it seems like they're going to invade into the camp. And they get it that easily. Ooh, when they're down the talent.
Yeah, Tempest just not able to realize that that was happening, I guess, fast enough to deny them. So, big win. Malthael was still soaking top too, which is interesting considering that they're already ahead in talent tiers and they're not going to be for much longer. He is coming down to rejoin. Mighty does have the extra soaking of good to hit 13, so it's 13v13 now.
I think they were kind of realizing that Illidan can join in any time with the Hunt, and making it 5v4 will be much harder for Tempest. Now they make the big engage for stealing their own camp. Joker's sustaining in the front line. Here comes HGC sustaining himself.
So much damage.
Illidan not doing any damage from the blind.
Honkono with the leap kill there is going to get the finishing blow onto good. The Cocoon will expire here. And that is going to be Nasong immediately detainment struck. And that is another kill there. Divine Shield canceled there. And it just came off the cooldown. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I saw some weird UI bug. But anyway, Divine Shield not going to save him, not available. Just doesn't show the animation weirdly there because if he was in a ghost form, it did get used.
Hitting that blind was big. Illidan could not do any damage or healing onto himself.
The
So.
Lunara pick and the positioning of the Sign's Anubarak is winning Tempest this game. They are starting to crush these fights. As you accurately predicted, post 10, it was going to be very difficult for Mighty. They didn't try to snowball the game, as you said. They played safe when they were slightly ahead instead of really pushing the envelope as to what could have been achieved, what could have been accomplished. And the game just continues now at this stage to be taken away from them, snowballed away from them.
Will be very tough. Starting from here on now on, and there's another engage. The hunt is available for Illidan to join, but the channeling is taking a while. The H82 is making its way down here.
Well, he is going to get both at least, so it's actually a pretty big win for Mighty. And they're looking to take all three. The hunt could be the way they win this fight. Honkono needs to be the one who's collapsed on. Well, we see him go ahead and drop it down. Nope, wants to save it for the longer fight, holding on to it for the time being.
On to sign once
Here we
more.
go.
There's a big engage. There's a hunt onto Hario, but does save herself. But
she had to self-Aegis though, which means no healing throughout that time. Look at this though, Honkono doing a lot of free damage from behind. BDG getting the resets they so desperately need, but he gets caught here. And even with the self-Aegis on Ariel there, Tempest is able to walk away from this fight. Good trying to get carried here by Nasong, but he'll eventually have to leave.
Seems like you can't really take down Illidan without any supports left for your team, but they will still get these shots because it was a better team fight for Tempest, of course, losing Ariel and having her to self-sustain with the crystal onto herself, costing them big. But Honkono was leaping through in and out of the fight. That's what made the team fight go towards Tempest. He was doing so much damage.
Yeah. Well, now 16's up. At least Mighty got two altar shots. They had Illidan get both, so still behind 8 currently, but at the same time, you know, it could have been worse. So they at least made that happen. If they had gotten all 3, won the team fight, it would have been worth the decisions they made there. But it's just hard for them to win the longer fight, even with Ariel's not healing there. The damage coming out from Honkono it's too much for them to deal with. And in that last fight too, is one thing I want to highlight is no one dealt with him. He was like in the middle of the fight just shooting people and doing a lot of damage, ability damage.
That's right, as the hunt and the focus on Ariel seems to be the best option for Mighty, but even that was not enough.
By the way, we didn't mention this at all. It's kind of a Psystorm build from Tassadar that we're seeing, so he's adding a lot of extra damage.
Popping Tormented Soul and using the hunt on the other side for the escape, but Ariel is coming.
And he doesn't even need her. Oh, missed the Tainment Strike. Nasong is actually here for the heal.
What a save there, and
now
the hook on to hide.
They can turn this for sure. He has to use Aegis.
That's going to be a kill for sure.
BDG's timing! That was so sick! The orb was perfect!
On to the target.
I live for moments like that. That was
nice. The best bait I've ever seen in this entire weekend in all regions. Nasong coming in for the save. That was a nice play.
So, pretty nicely done. And Sign will have to retreat here, but Mighty could definitely still come back in this game. BDG wants it. He's not going to get it. Sign will get them out off. This is the double altar phase, so Illidan's not going to be able to cruise around the map and steal free channels this time. They're also only looking for 3 shots per because of the bell tower control that Tempest has.
Already used. Seems like they're going on all the way on BDG, and Archon does a lot of damage. And there we go. H82 does not have his heroic though. Cannot sustain himself. There's a kill onto. That's a 1-1 trade. 4v4 fight right now, but so much damage coming out from Honkono with the sustain.
Okay, there's the Divine Shield here, but Nasong is going to find himself going down now. And there's the kill. Helping Hand a bit too late. As the altar is doing extra damage, not really able to find cover there. So there will be the double channel here now for Tempest, which will put the health of Mighty down to 6 with the 5 shots here. Not going to be able to win the game off of a boss play or anything like that, but they're very close. It's 2 plays away of any type to win the game.
And they already have the bell tower, and 6 of these sappers will be enough, actually. Of course, they will lock at least 1 or more. Seems like Illidan and Luther still on a long respawn time, so it looks like Tempest wants to actually push some of this into the core. Going on with the blind. Honkono doing so much free damage. There's no heals coming out. Joker might actually die here.
He's dead. Oops.
Poor Stitches.
Stitches, no heal.
3 shots went in. 3 more shots, that's GG.
Yep, they want all 3 of them. No
There's
CC here.
Good
They're
has
gonna
to
die
dive
for
in.
this.
There's this disintegrate. One pumpkin already down, so
Whew. Close
barely saved.
Awesome.
Nasan will die though.
Honkono is popping off right now. The more I watch Honkono play this season, the more I think that he was probably meant to be a DPS player like he originally thought.
Yeah.
Not a tank player.
I think he suits a lot better in this position.
For right now, anyways, with his gray main that he's been dominating with and now showing his Lunara potential. And it's just such a good hero against what Mighty has drafted. The Uther armor not useful at all. And they're just going to protect this, wait for the next altar phase, win it, and win the game. What can Mighty hope to do here?
And
it's a favorable spawn for them, too.
It's a perfect one for them. It's only one, so not really the best one, but still the positioning is the perfect one because they control both of the bell towers on the bottom. And if the sappers come back within the next few minutes, they can still do that or take the boss later. They have so much options, and Mighty's still 2 full levels away from 20. That's going to take a long time.
Oh,
there's a hook.
They have to fight against Twilight Archon. This Archon is going to go for basically forever. Joker's losing so much.
Okay,
the hunt. They try to kill him before he can hunt, but he still goes down. Just no way that Mighty can try to stop this anymore. Magi gets at least 1 kill before he goes down, but that will be the shots. And the wipe. That is going to be GG. Tempest
it is.
takes game number 1.
Dominant, I would say. Very dominant game of Tempest. It was clean. They knew what to do. They wanted this to happen from the beginning with this kind of draft. They had a theme, and Mighty did not shove the hole into it. They definitely had a weak early game. A weak early day. I think Mighty could have been a little bit more aggressive at the early game, which they could not really snowball and just let Tempest to build on to later game. And after later game, the sustain and also the hooks were not really on target, I would say.
Yeah, the hooks were... There just wasn't enough follow-up for them. The damage was really just kind of...
We saw one amazing play by Illidan, though.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Oh, we did see that. We saw the really sick bait play as well. We mostly saw Honkono just do tons of damage for free. Never got picked off, never really got hooked. He brought his Wisp to actually many team fights to zone. He puts the Wisp next to him so the hook can't hit him. It hits the Wisp, which then cancels the hook when the Wisp dies. So this pretty sick play overall on the Lunara, and no one was able to punish him for it. And there we saw early picks in the fight as well. Once we also saw Li Ming picked off many times where they just collapsed on Li Ming, killed BDG early. And then once Li Ming is gone, they don't have that much damage. They have the damage that needs more healing. You have the Gray Main that's diving in. You have the Illidan that's diving in. But only the Uther support. And once he heals one time, the big burst over the damage over time for Lunara, she just auto-attacks again and again and again. And the burn just bleeds through. And the draft was really intelligent from Tempest. The Mighty draft was risky. It was very aggressive with the triple DPS. But the draft we saw from Tempest really dealt with it.
Yep, that's right, and they will take us. Tempest will take us into Spider Queen game number 2.